Hi everyone!
Welcome to a special English language news edition from the Mykhailo School of Journalism. In the studio today I work in journalists Marchuk and Uliana Krychkovska.
Here's today's top stories.
Masters International, a short track competition featuring retired skaters.
Through forests and fields, a national aliens camp journey in the Zhytomyr region.
I Shook This World, an exhibition by Marchuk at the Museum of the History of Kyiv.
The race doesn't always end with the retirement. For some athletes, it's just the beginning of the new chapter.
Today we are diving into a unique short track competition created especially for older skaters. Let's discover more in the report by Ksenia Adamenko.
Helmets, speed, and razor-sharp terms. At the first glance, this looks like a typical short track competition, but there's a twist. Most of the athletes are far from their 20s. Here in Białystok, Poland, international veteran skaters are proving that speed has no age limit. The competition featured 9 age categories ranging from 30 plus to 70 plus. In total, around 70 athletes from 14 countries took part in the event. Skaters competed across 5 different events. Polish athletes delivered the most outstanding performance, dominating the competition with a total of 37 medals. One of the biggest highlights was the mixed relay team, which set a new world masters record. Individually, Bartosz Konopko, now a coach of Poland's junior national team, was one of the stars of the event, winning all his races. His wife, Karolina Konopko, was equally impressive, also winning all her events and taking first place in the overall classification of her category. However, the event was about more than just results. It brought together athletes who share a passion for short track.
I started at 38.
38.
So more than 17. I'm 56. Just because my two daughters were skating, and when you're sitting in the arena every time, you say to yourself, I would like to try that, especially with the long blades.
Yes.
And once our club decided to ask, hey, if there is any parents who wants to try, let's, and that's when it started.
What makes this competition truly different from others is its atmosphere. The focus is not only on winning but also on community and support. Athletes cheer for each other, reconnect with old friends, and create environment that is both competitive and incredibly welcoming. Ksenia Adamenko, епізоди Kyiv-Mogila Academy.
Serafima, don't you think staying active later in life shows that spirit for adventures never really fades?
Absolutely, and sometimes it begins much earlier, when young people push their limits, explore new experiences, and learn to rely on each other.
Exactly, and that's why definitely what the participant of the National Alliance Camp experienced firsthand.
40 participants, nearly 50 kilometers across the Zhytomyr region, overnight stays in schools, and meals in historic locations. A few days that test endurance while building a real sense of teamwork.
What it's like to go through a National Alliance camp and what stays with you afterwards in Nazar Zabavsky report.
It's March outside, and that means it's time to grab your backpack and set off an adventure. I'm Nazar Zabavsky, and today I'm gonna tell you about unique camp organized by National Alliance that combine a spirit of adventure and opportunity to discover lesser-known Zhytomyr region. Let's go!
Мандрівний також часопис – це не лише про кілометри маршруту, а про
The Chasopis travel camp isn't just about the miles we count, it's about the people around us and the memories that will stay with us for a long time to come. We wanted to bring young people together and give them the chance to step a little outside their comfort zone, share this experience with us, and get to know themselves and the Zhytomyr region better through conversation and travel. We gathered about 30 participants, covered over 40 kilometers in a few days, but most importantly, we pushed ourselves and realized that we must always keep moving forward.
During the camp, participants had the opportunity to visit numerous architectural landmarks, see Stalin-era bunkers, and listen to open-air talks about the Zhytomyr region. At the same time, the program was intense and well structured. On the first day, participants gathered, opened the camp, visited a Catholic church and the Luber Museum, and ended the day with an evening program after arriving at their accommodation. The second day began with a wake-up, breakfast and a minute of silence. Participants honored the memory of fallen members of the National Alliance. The journey then continued with hikes, stops at various locations, and evening program at a new site. The third day became a test of endurance. An early wake-up, movement along the route in the field conditions, and a final stretch that concluded the camp. Of course, there were plenty of activities as well, from morning exercises to parties and theme performances. The camp will take place again next year, so don't hesitate to sign up and join the active use of Ukraine. This was Nazar Zabavsky, reporting for the Kyiv-Mogilянka School of Journalism.
On March 30, we remember a man whose name was once synonymous with the incredible wealth and its industrial power, Mykhailo Tereshchenko, Sugar King, who controlled millions but invested them not in palaces but in the future of Ukraine culture.
How did the empire's richest man end up in a prison cell, and what price was paid for his freedom? A story of philanthropy, diamonds and a legacy we see on the streets of Kyiv every day. Further details in the following report by Anna Gnatenko.
Mykhailo Tereshchenko, the sugar king with the soul of an artist. Imagine a 20-year-old inheriting a fortune that exceeds the budget of an entire nation. But instead of simply multiplying the zeros in his bank account, he began to build, not just factories, but the cultural DNA of Ukraine. He understood a fundamental truth: a nation without culture is merely a territory. Consequently, he acted as a strategist. His wealth transforms into the foundation of a Kyiv conservatory, the walls of the Nation Art Museum, and the lifeline for independent artists whose name we study in schools today. Tereshchenko didn't just donate money, he created a space where Ukrainian identity became elite. He was the magnet that pulled talent towards Kyiv, transforming a provincial town in a European capital of the arts. He believed that art should belong to everyone capable of feeling. During the revolution in 1917, he lost everything. But history has a curious habit: gold tarnishes, yet walls built out of love for someone's land stand forever. Mykhailo Tereshchenko taught us the most important lesson: the true elite does not just consume culture, it creates it, with its own hand, its own mind, and its own devotion.
Art lovers in Kyiv are being offered a rare opportunity to step into the extraordinary world of Ivan Marchuk, one of Ukraine's most celebrated and distinctive painters.
The Museum of History of Kyiv is celebrating the artist's soon-to-be 19th anniversary with a massive exhibition titled I Shook This World. It consists of nearly 250 works and showcases his remarkable creative journey.
From his early student experiments to the deeply philosophical themes of his later years, the exhibition reveals the evolution of a master who has created more than 5,000 works.
Why does Ivan Marchuk say he shook the world, and what does that mean for today's audience? More details in Maria Milaiko's report.
Ivan Marchuk is one of the most famous and influential Ukrainian artists. He created over 5,000 paintings, invented a unique artistic technique, and held more than 150 personal exhibitions around the world. In honor of his approaching 90th birthday, a large-scale exhibition of Marchuk's works opened at the Museum of Kyiv History. The title of the art exhibition behind me, I Shook This World by Ivan Marchuk, is both a confession and a testament to the scale of artist's work. The collection reveals a multifaceted world of the artist. It unfolds on all 4 floors of the Museum of History of Kyiv and showcases almost 250 works by Ivan Marchuk. A special place in the exhibition is occupied by works from Ivan Marchuk's personal collection: early paintings, portraits, student works, sketches, and ceramic panels. Despite the lack of drawing materials in his childhood, he managed to create art with natural pigments from flowers, blades of grass, and fruits. Most of those art pieces have not previously been presented to the public.
The exhibition reveals Ivan Marchuk's work through the prism of different eras that shaped the artist. From the Soviet era, where bright individualism was frowned upon and perceived as a challenge to the system, to the period of Ukraine's independence and our modernity, in which his work opens up in a new historical sound.
Each floor of the Museum of Kyiv History has its own name and a concept, forming a holistic portrait of the artist, from early searches to iconic cycles and philosophical generalizations.
The uniqueness of Ivan Marchuk as an artist lies primarily in the technique of platonism as well as his hard-working character and desire to experiment. His work is very diverse from magical realism to abstractionism. It was through Marchuk's art that foreigners got acquainted with Ukraine because he is faithful to Ukrainian tradition, Ukrainian land and Ukraine as a country.
Ivan Marchuk's entire creative path is a continuous search for new styles and techniques. This is how his unique technique, plontanism, appeared. In the Western Ukrainian dialect, plontati means to weave or intertwine. The artworks for the exhibition were provided by 11 Ukrainian museums and over 30 private collectors, which helped shape a large-scale representation of the artist's work from different periods at the Museum of Kyiv History. Maria Mileiko for the episodes Mykhailo School of Journalism.
Serafima, have you ever been to Gdansk?
Never. Why are you asking?
Our correspondent was. She visited Gdansk and explored the incredible museum ship that became a symbol of the city after World War II. Let's discover more about port and the ship, the report by Valeria Perokh.
This week episode visit Gdansk, one of the most beautiful cities in Poland, and the port. Behind me is the Soldek, the first ship which was built in Poland after the Second World War. And now we have a great opportunity to see what is inside the ship. It's hard to believe, but about 19% of Gdansk was destroyed after World War II. The city was rebuilt, including the port. The Soldek was created in 1949, and since then the ship has sailed on the North Sea and the Baltic Sea, completing over 1,000 voyages. For the past 40 years, it has operated as a museum. Visitors can explore the cargo holds, engine rooms, the captain's cabin, and the decks.
For me, the most interesting part was all these mechanisms under this ship and all cayutes. It was really interesting to see all maps and all these pictures with planning how to build this boat, because I understand how complicated it is and how important to do everything correct, ingenuity.
The museum staff say that the ship is becoming increasingly popular with tourists every year. Do you like the ship?
Yes.
Are there many people this time of year?
Yes, more and more people every year.
Валерія Перох, Альона Мишакова, епізоди Могила School of Journalism.
Kyiv is not just the capital of Ukraine. It's a city that reveals itself step by step. Here, historic churches stand next to modern spaces, and around every corner there is a new story.
If it is your first time here, the best way to feel Kyiv is simply to walk around, about a simple and colorful route through Kyiv in a report by Olga Mironchuk.
Kyiv is a city you should visit at least once in your life, and if it's your first time here, the episodes will show you the best places. So let's start at Kontraktova Square, the historical and cultural center of Kyiv.
Kontraktova Square is in the center of Podil. It got its name because of its economic importance in the 17th, 18th centuries. Important contracts were signed here, and later contract fairs took place. The square is known for its Ferris wheel, but unfortunately you cannot ride it now because of technical problems. This is also where the oldest educational institution in Ukraine is located, the Kyiv-Mogilянka Academy. Kyiv is a great city for tourists because all the main places in the center can be visited in one day without transport. From Kontraktova Square you can walk to Poshtova Square, a great place to relax near the Dnieper River. A few minutes along the river and you will reach the monument to the return of Magdeburg rights to Kyiv. Right behind it, there are stairs with a view of the left bank of the Dnieper. If you go up the stairs, you will reach several important places, the modern glass bridge and Maidan Nezalezhnosti. Yes, this is the place where important events in our history happened, such as the Revolution of Dignity in 2013-2014. Now there is also the Alley of Heroes in memory of those who died in the Russian-Ukrainian War. From here, you will get to the main street of the city, Kreshchatek. Kyiv is impressive on every street, so during your walk we also recommend exploring them. Olha Marchuk, episodes, Mykhailo School of Journalism.
Russian disinformation continues to wage war on the information battlefield. Ukrainian youth allegedly stood up in defense of the Russian language, German firefighters supposedly mock mobilization in Ukraine, and there is a fake claim in Ukraine alleged aggression against Moldova.
Journalist Antony Shuk will tell you about this and other fakes in the episode of Anti-Fake Digest.
Attention, fake news. Ukrainian youth stood up in defense of the Russian language. Russian propaganda citing data from the United Nations Development Program in Ukraine has spread disinformation claiming that Ukrainian youth have come out in defense of the Russian language. The propaganda asserts that Ukraine is returning to the language norm, supposedly confirmed by UNDP data. In reality, the Russians distorted the findings of a joint study by the UNDP in Ukraine and the Ukrainian Ministry of Youth and Sports. The report clearly shows that year after year, the language practices of Ukrainian youth demonstrate a deepening of Ukrainization in all spheres of communication. According to the data, 61% of respondents use Ukrainian in private communication with family and friends, while in public spaces this figure rises to 75%. The researchers emphasizes that the dynamics in professional and educational environments are particularly telling. Over the past year. The share of Ukrainian speakers increased from 69% to 75%. However, Russian propaganda does not stop there. New fake. German firefighters mock mobilization in Ukraine. The video was indeed made by the volunteer fire department of Immenstadt. However, it has no connection to Ukraine. It is a humorous clip created to highlight a serious problem, the shortage of personnel in German volunteer fire brigades. Russian media and Telegram channels claim this is a parody of Ukraine's mobilization process, filmed by rescues from the Bavarian town of Immenstadt. All March 2026, Russian media published dozens of materials trying to shift responsibility for war crimes onto Ukraine. This is a terrorist attacks on Ukrainian hydropower. Russian provoke a cross-border environmental disaster in Ukraine and Moldova, yet it continues attempts to absolve itself of responsibility. These were the main fakes of this week. Stay vigilant, trust only verified sources, and protect your information space. Antony Shuk, specially for episodes Mykhailo School of Journalism.
That's all for today.
Thank you for watching. We hope you join us for our next news edition.
Stay tuned and see you soon.